Causes and Effects of Climate Change Essay. Climate change is one of the most pressing issues facing humanity in the 21st century. Defined as significant changes in global temperatures and weather patterns over time, climate change has profound implications for ecosystems, economies, and communities worldwide. This essay explores the causes and effects of climate change, emphasizing its far-reaching consequences and the urgent need for action. Causes of climate change. The causes of climate change can be broadly classified into natural and human-induced factors. 1. Natural causes. Volcanic eruptions. Large volcanic eruptions release significant amounts of carbon dioxide, CO2, and sulfur dioxide into the atmosphere. While these gases can cool the planet temporarily by reflecting sunlight, they also contribute to the greenhouse effect. Solar variability. Changes in the sun's energy output can influence Earth's climate. Although these changes are minimal compared to human activities, they play a role in long-term climate patterns. Earth's orbital changes. Variations in Earth's orbit and tilt affect the distribution of solar energy, leading to natural climate cycles like ice ages. 2. Human-induced causes. Human activities are the primary drivers of recent climate change, particularly since the Industrial Revolution. Burning of fossil fuels, the combustion of coal, oil, and natural gas for energy and transportation releases massive amounts of CO2 and other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. Deforestation. Forests act as carbon sinks, absorbing CO2. The widespread cutting down of forests for agriculture, urbanization, and timber reduces this capacity, increasing atmospheric CO2 levels. Industrial processes. Factories emit greenhouse gases such as methane, CH4, and nitrous oxide, N2O, both of which are more potent than CO2. Agricultural practices. Livestock farming produces methane through enteric fermentation, while rice paddies and the excessive use of fertilizers release both methane and nitrous oxide. Waste management. Decomposing organic waste in landfills generates methane, contributing to the greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect is central to understanding human-induced climate change. Greenhouse gases trap heat in the Earth's atmosphere, creating a warming effect. While this process is natural and necessary for life, excessive greenhouse gas emissions amplify the effect, leading to global warming. Effects of climate change. The effects of climate change are diverse and far-reaching, impacting natural systems, human societies, and economies. 1. Environmental impacts. Rising temperatures. Global temperatures have risen by approximately 1.1 degrees Celsius since pre-industrial times. This warming trend affects ecosystems, causing shifts in species distributions and threatening biodiversity. Melting ice and rising sea levels. The polar ice caps and glaciers are melting at unprecedented rates, contributing to sea level rise. Coastal areas face increased risks of flooding and erosion, displacing millions of people. Extreme weather events. Climate change intensifies extreme weather events such as hurricanes, droughts, heatwaves, and heavy rainfall. These events cause widespread destruction and loss of life. Ocean acidification. Increased CO2 absorption by oceans lowers pH levels, threatening marine life, including coral reefs and shellfish. Loss of habitats. Changing temperatures and weather patterns disrupt ecosystems, leading to habitat loss for many species, especially in polar and tropical regions. 2. Social and economic impacts. Food security. Changes in rainfall patterns, prolonged droughts, and extreme weather events reduce agricultural productivity, threatening global food supplies. Health risks. Rising temperatures increase the prevalence of heat-related illnesses and vector-borne diseases such as malaria and dengue fever. Water scarcity. Altered precipitation patterns and shrinking glaciers reduce freshwater availability, particularly in arid regions. Economic losses. Natural disasters linked to climate change cause significant economic damage, including the destruction of infrastructure and reduced productivity. Forced migration. Rising sea levels and extreme weather events force communities to abandon their homes, leading to climate refugees and increased pressure on urban areas. 3. Global inequalities. Climate change disproportionately affects vulnerable populations in developing countries, which lack the resources to adapt. For example, small island nations face existential threats from rising sea levels, while low-income communities struggle to recover from climate-related disasters. The feedback loop. Climate change creates feedback loops that exacerbate its effects. For instance, melting ice reduces the Earth's albedo, reflectivity, causing more heat to be absorbed and accelerating warming. Similarly, thawing permafrost releases trapped methane, further intensifying the greenhouse effect. The urgency for action. The effects of climate change are already evident, and delaying action will only make mitigation more challenging. Addressing climate change requires a coordinated global effort across governments, businesses, and individuals. Mitigation strategies. Transition to renewable energy, replacing fossil fuels with solar, wind, and hydroelectric power reduces greenhouse gas emissions. Reforestation. Planting trees and protecting existing forests enhances the planet's capacity to absorb CO2. Sustainable agriculture. Adopting eco-friendly farming practices and reducing food waste can mitigate emissions from the agricultural sector. Energy efficiency. Improving energy efficiency in industries, buildings, and transportation reduces overall energy demand. Carbon pricing. Implementing carbon taxes or cap-and-trade systems incentivizes emission reductions. Adaptation measures. Building resilient infrastructure. Constructing flood defenses and resilient buildings can protect communities from climate impact. Water management. Developing efficient irrigation systems and rainwater harvesting can address water scarcity. Disaster preparedness. Strengthening early warning systems and emergency response plans reduces the impacts of extreme weather events. Protecting biodiversity. Establishing conservation areas and restoring ecosystems helps species adapt to changing conditions. Conclusion. Climate change is a complex and multifaceted issue that requires immediate attention. Its causes are deeply rooted in human activities, particularly the reliance on fossil fuels and unsustainable practices. The effects of climate change are already manifesting in the form of rising temperatures, extreme weather events, and threats to biodiversity and human well-being. While the challenges are significant, solutions are within reach. Mitigation and adaptation efforts, guided by international cooperation and innovative technologies, can pave the way for a sustainable future. Each individual also has a role to play, from reducing energy consumption to advocating for climate action. By acting decisively, humanity can mitigate the worst effects of climate change and ensure a livable planet for future generations.